A woman buys a lottery ticket the same week her $1 million con collapses. She wins. And winning is the worst thing that could have happened to her, because claiming the money means walking into a police station and turning herself in. That's the setup of this week's book, and it's one of the best high-concept hooks I've read in a long time. Let's get into it. Welcome back to 52 Pickup. I'm Fred, and every week here, I read one book and tell you honestly whether it's worth your time, no spoilers, until we hit the gate. If you're new, glad to have you. This week's book has already been turned into an Apple TV Plus series with Anya Taylor-Joy. So there's a decent chance some of you are here because of the show. Stick around, the book's worth the conversation either way. This is Lucky by Marissa Stapley. Week 6 of 52 Pickup. Last week, we did our first psychological thriller with The Silent Patient. This week, we're staying in thriller territory, but switching lanes entirely into a con artist heist story. Here's the setup. Lucky was abandoned as a baby on the steps of a church and raised by John Armstrong, a career con man, which means grifting isn't something she learned. It's the only childhood she had. At 26, she and her boyfriend Carrie pull off a $1 million scam right as the 2008 financial crisis hits, which is exactly the wrong moment for a financial con to be discovered, because suddenly everyone's checking their accounts. The scheme collapses. The plan was always to fly out to Dominica and disappear. But the night before the flight, things go sideways. Carrie doesn't make the plane, and Lucky ends up on the run alone with a fresh problem sitting in her pocket. A lottery ticket she bought on a whim in Vegas, worth millions, that she cannot cash without confirming her real identity and walking straight into an arrest. Why this one? Why now? Because after a slow burn psychological thriller last week, I wanted something with actual forward momentum, a book that moves like a heist film, not a seance. And because she can't collect her own jackpot, might be the cleanest, most instantly graspable hook premise I've come across doing this show. What works first? The premise does exactly what a great hook is supposed to do. It creates a ticking clock and a trap in a single sentence. Every chapter, you're aware of 2 countdowns running at once. How long before Lucky's past catches up with her, and how long before that ticket expires unclaimed. Stapley doesn't waste that tension. The book moves. Second, the childhood of Khan's backstory does real work. Lucky isn't a criminal who fell into grifting as an adult choice. She was raised inside it by a father figure who loved her the only way he knew how, which was by teaching her to lie fluently and well. That gives the book an emotional spine underneath the heist mechanics. This isn't just, will she get away with it? It's, can someone raised entirely inside deception ever actually trust anyone, including herself? The book uses her search for her birth mother, abandoned by her too, in a different way, as the emotional engine running parallel to the plot engine. And that pairing is the smartest structural choice in the book. Now the honest part. The con artist genre has a formula, and Lucky doesn't fully escape it. The near misses with law enforcement follow a rhythm you'll recognize if you've read or watched anything in this space before. Close call, clever escape, brief safety, repeat. A couple of the supporting players exist mostly to create obstacles rather than as people you remember once the book's over. If you've read a lot in this genre, you'll clock the machinery a chapter or 2 before it turns. Where I think the book earns extra credit is that it understands the difference between a twist and a reason to care. A lot of thrillers are built like puzzle boxes. The author hides information, reveals it late, and hopes surprise does the emotional work. Lucky is better than that. The lottery ticket is the loud premise, but the quieter question is whether Lucky has ever been given a fair chance to become someone other than what she was trained to be. That makes the cons more interesting, because every lie she tells is also a survival skill she inherited. You can feel the book asking whether talent at deception is still a gift if it was built out of abandonment. Because we do need to talk about how it resolves. Lucky's path forward isn't a clean escape, it's reconciliation. She tracks down her birth mother and gets an answer that reframes the abandonment she's carried her whole life. Not as rejection, but as something more complicated and, in its own way, sadder. She also has to make a real decision about Carrie. Not just, does she still love him, but whether the version of loyalty she learned from a con man father is actually love at all, or just the only shape of attachment she was ever taught. And the ticket itself gets resolved in a way that isn't a magic loophole. It costs her something real to claim it, which is the right choice. A story about consequences shouldn't end with a consequence. Free jackpot. What lands hardest is that the book's real question was never, will she get the money? It's, can a person built entirely out of lies build one honest life? And the answer it lands on is earned rather than tidy. The moment I'd point someone to if they want to know what this book is actually about, underneath the heist plot, the conversation with her birth mother. Without spoiling the specifics for the skippers who jumped ahead, it's the one scene in the book where Lucky isn't performing a con or running from one. She's just a person asking the most basic human question there is, and the book lets that scene breathe instead of rushing back to the plot. It's the best written chapter in the book, and it's not the one with the money in it. One more thing worth calling out before we get to the verdict. The choice to set the con's collapse right at the start of the 2008 financial crisis isn't just plot mechanics, it's thematic scaffolding. That's the exact moment an entire country got forced into an uncomfortable audit of its own finances. Everyone checking statements, everyone recalculating what they thought they had. Stapley drops her professional con artist into that same reckoning, at the same time as the rest of the country, and it reframes what Lucky's been doing her whole life as just a more literal version of something everyone was suddenly doing anyway. Figuring out how much of what they believed about their own security was real. It's a smart piece of structural timing, and it's the kind of detail that rewards readers who like a book to be thinking about more than just its next plot beat. Pacing-wise, this is a genuinely fast read. Chapters are short, alternating between the present-day chase and the flashback origin story, and the book never lets you sit still long enough to get restless. If you've been burned before by heist novels that front-load their best material and coast on momentum for the back half, that's not the case here. The backstretch, once Lucky starts making real choices, instead of just running, is where the book actually gets better, not worse. That's rarer than it should be in this genre, and it's part of why I'd recommend this to someone who normally bounces off thrillers around the 2/3 mark. Rating: Lucky gets a king. Here's the math. The premise and the emotional backbone are both genuinely excellent. A king-level hook paired with a real, earned emotional arc under the heist mechanics. What keeps it from the top of the deck is the genre formula in the middle stretch. The escape and close call rhythm is well executed but familiar, and a couple of supporting characters are doing plot duty rather than living on the page. A king is a face card that just misses the top spot. Extremely good, Highly recommend. Not quite flawless. Who it's for? Anyone who wants a fast, propulsive read with real heart underneath the con artist plotting. And anyone curious how the Apple TV Plus adaptation compares to the source. Who should skip it? If you want your heist fiction airtight and twist-free of genre convention, the familiar rhythm in the middle may bother you more than it bothered me. Copies linked below. And as an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. 6 books down, 46 to go. Next week is a real pivot, so I want to flag it now. We're stepping out of fiction for the first time since our Malcolm Gladwell detour into Empire of Pain by Patrick Radden Keefe, the story of the Sackler family, Purdue Pharma, and the opioid crisis. It's a heavier week than usual, and I'll treat it that way when we get there. But it's an extraordinary piece of reporting and worth reading along with me if you're up for it. If this channel is your kind of book club, subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm Fred. This is 52 Pickup. See you next week.